That anyone who's loyal to the of Dragonstone, and I was like, this guy, the audacity. Yo, that episode 4 was really something. I expected it to be cool and awesome and all of those things, but I didn't expect it to be full of WTF moments. And as we did last time, we're going to do a scene by scene breakdown. Hopefully this video will not be as long, because I don't think it was as heavy as episode 3. But yeah, instead of yapping, let's get into it. Hi and welcome to today's episode review breakdown of House of the Dragon season 2 episode 4. And I kinda was late watching the episode because of work, but here I am, and I had to watch it twice. I watched it before work and I watched it after, just to get the best view on it. And I like how it opens up, because it's a pretty unexpected scene. We know Daemon is really going through it in Harrenhal. You know, I'm thinking by the time he's done with Harrenhal, he'll be a madman, because I would also go crazy in this place, because it just looks like a haunted house, a haunted castle at that. And it opens up with the Nini Daemon interacting with young Rhaenyra. And as we had said before, young Rhaenyra is more of Daemon's conscience. I feel like he connected more to her, because I feel like with all her free-spiritedness and all these things, you know, there's a connection there, and we see it even in the first season. He has more chemistry with her than older Rhaenyra to some extent. I don't know why, but yeah, we see that confrontation. And as I've always said, every episode in season 2 has kind of vindicated me in so many ways that Daemon is not a good man. And I'm so glad that that people are actually now seeing Daemon for who he is. I know he had people swooning in the first season, but this is the actual Daemon. Daemon is someone who's jealous of Rhaenyra in the position that she is, and if he had a chance, he would actually take her out. I don't know if we are going to have such a confrontation in this season or the next one. I don't know how it's going to go, but he doesn't like her. Daemon doesn't like anyone. He only likes himself. I think the only person that he kind of ever respected was the wife, the first wife that died. Okay, the second wife, because he killed his first wife, you people. This is not someone you should be rooting for. The second wife, I forget her name, but I think that's the only one he kind of respected, yeah. So we see this interaction with young Rhaenyra, and she's like, you know, here I am. You don't like me as much because I was chosen. My father liked me more than he loved you. And it's just a chilling scene, because I remember in the trailer breakdown that I did last time, the crown fell on the floor, and we now see why the crown actually fell. He actually cut her head, and she continued talking. And it kind of reminded me of the scene where he cut the Brother Corlys head. Kind of brought me back to that scene, you know. And I don't know, I think given a chance, he would usurp her. I just see it happen. I don't know if it's going to actually take place, but as I said, the reason why Daemon married Rhaenyra is to be just in close proximity to the crown. And I think that's all. He's loyal to the crown, but he's not loyal to Rhaenyra, because he doesn't believe she deserves it. Just like Aemon does not believe Aegon should be the king. Aemon believes that he is more suited to be king. So they kind of play off each other. It's weird. As I said, I like how this G.R.R. Martin writes his scene. The other scene that really stuck out to me was Rhaenys interaction with one of her husband's bastard. And if I'm not wrong, correct me if I am, but in the books, Rhaenys wasn't aware of the bastard kids. She wasn't aware of them. and she died even without knowing that they were around. But here we actually see her interact with one of them, and she kind of knows that he was the one who saved her husband, and you actually feel sorry for her because she's been one of these loyal people, especially to her husband and all these things. And it's funny how and I think it just traverses all generations, how when men are confronted about certain things, especially stepping out of their marriages, they usually become so defensive. And you see Collis become so defensive. He's like, now why are you asking me these questions right now, blah 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 blah. She's like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. I already know what happened. I'm going to Dragonstone to help Bella with the council because they're currently eating her up. And she just goes. I think that was a painful scene, especially knowing that she eventually dies. A very painful death. But anyway, I'll get back to that. The other WTF moment for me was finding out that Queen Alicent got pregnant with Christian Cole's child, because she is the one of the, I don't know his name, he creates the potions. I was like, yo lady, you should be careful, bana. You shouldn't be making some mistakes as at a certain age. You know, at a certain age as a woman, you need to make your decisions better, you know. But as I've come to know, especially with the recent events that have been happening in my country, Kenya, age doesn't necessarily come with wisdom. So yeah, I thought that was I was like, ew, how could you get pregnant for that guy? You should know better. You're supposed to, if it was supposed to be something, I'm thinking, where you're just having fun or releasing stress and pressure, but it shouldn't get to this point. Alicent needs to be more careful and have better discernment, I feel. And then we are taken to Dragonstone, where we find the council now drilling Bella, because there's one thing one of the council members said, and he was like, I wish you just burnt them all down, you know. And I think that is what we were all thinking. And she has like this clapback of, once you get your dragon, knowing very well they're the only dragon riders, you will now burn them yourselves. I thought that was a nice clapback. And I love how they played off each other, Bella and Jace, you know, they are betrothed to each other. So I love how they played off each other and just had each other's back. And just Rhaenys being there, trying to control the council, and also Collis just stepping in when everything was like out of hand, and he's like, yo, we're not supposed to be fighting, we're supposed to be coming together, thinking of how we are going to win this war, because now the war is not something that is now thought about, it's actually happening, because we've seen the kind of progress Christian Cole has been making, you know. Yeah. And we are now taken to Sir Christian Cole, just doing everything, just killing people who are not loyal to Aegon. And there's this statement he says, at anyone who's loyal to the of Dragonstone. And I was like, this guy, the audacity, how can you call someone like that? He needs to die a very painful death. I hope he dies a very painful death, a death where we will not even see his body. He needs to have such a death. So yeah. The other interaction that I loved, as I said, this episode was like an A+ for me, as in, I feel like Game of Thrones, I feel like House of the Dragon just gets better with every episode. I thought episode 3 was good. Episode 4, it had some really, really good scenes. I love this Green Council moment where Aegon and Aemond are like, you know, like this. And Aegon just finding out that Aemond and Sir Christian Cole have just been making their own plans. Nobody has been informing him of anything. Now his paranoia was like this. Now it's like this. Because how as a king, everyone is just making plans around you. You're just a figurehead. Nobody's even taking you serious. They don't even need to consult you on anything. People are just making plans and going ahead with them. So he's literally in the dark. So I really liked this scene because I feel like it was a clapback for Aemond. You remember how Aegon basically humiliated him in the brothel. So I feel like Aemond, humiliated Aegon in this council, because he was like, you've been busy doing serious, but mentioned some very silly things. And we didn't want to disturb you with whatever we were doing. We just wanted you to concentrate on your silly things that you've been doing, appointing silly things and silly people. And he speaks to Aegon in Valerian. And Aegon cannot even construct a full sentence using their native language. And just reminds me of most of, let's say, in Kenya we have native languages, we have Swahili and we have English. So he's like, most of the kids right now don't know their native languages, which is very sad. So he's more of those people who are like, I can hear, naeza sikia lakini siwezi ongea. I can hear but I cannot speak it. And essentially I think that was very embarrassing, especially as a king, somebody who's supposed to essentially carry your traditions, your values and everything Targaryen to the next generation. You have to be that representation, that figurehead. You not even knowing how to converse in that language that is precious, that is not even understood by other people around that table. I feel like that was very embarrassing. And yeah, I think Aemond was like, checkmate. Yeah. As we've said, Aemond has always seen himself suited better as king more than Aegon. And I was really right when I was breaking down the trailer in episode 3, and Alicent was talking to someone about the kingdom having peace, and now it doesn't, blah blah blah. He was talking to the fit guy. She actually was, and it starts off by her just trying to nurse herself. Remember, she's taken the potion, and it's really taking a toll on her. And the thing that I love about House of the Dragons and even Game of Thrones is how subtle they usually are with their conversations. So much is said in subtleness. It's like playing chess. I feel like that's how their conversations are, because Larys is just telling Alicent that he knows what she's been up to with Sir Criston Cole. He knows that she took the abortion drink because he sees the cup on the table, and he tells her that he understands, we all have pleasures that we need to satisfy. Remember, he gets off on seeing her feet, and probably he's also referring to the fact that you and Criston Cole have a thing and you have to probably blow off some steam. I love how their conversations are so intentional. So much, as in a sentence can be as simple as probably good morning and whatever, but it has so many underlying undertones that the people who are taking part in that conversation know exactly what they're talking about without really saying what they're talking about. They're subtle, I love such dialogues. I really love such dialogues. And the dialogue between the fit guy and Alicent in this scene is a great representation to that. I really loved that scene. I remember even just going back to watch it again, because it was filled with so many things. Because Larry's at some point is like, why are you all of a sudden interested in your husband's hobby of learning history of the Targaryens and all that? And she brings up this topic of, Viserys probably changed his mind because of obvious or reasons known to him. Nobody knows. People just went with what Queen Alicent said rather. And she went back to the point of, no matter his intentions, even with what he declared, and regardless of him changing his mind, by the time this war is over, all his values, all the things that he thought about will just have died with him at that point. It's like she's going back to justify herself and not even coming out with the truth of, actually, I got this wrong. Viserys didn't mean that. So she's just sweeping it under the carpet. It has happened. There's nothing we can do. We can't turn back time. The wheels have already have been turning. We can't stop them right now. It wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, I think that was interesting. And as I said, Daemon, by the time he's done with this Harrenhal, he'll be a madman. This place looks haunted. I wouldn't live here. I would actually be depressed. And he has this conversation with Alice Rivers, but before that, he's woken up by footsteps. We know he's been having these weird dreams that if I had such dreams, I would just go back to Dragonstone and just be like, Rhaenyra, I'm sorry, I'm not going back there. But as we said, Harrenhal is very important. So he kind of sees footsteps and he follows them. And we kind of see this Aemon figure, because we know Aemon has longer hair and he has a walk to him. So I remember even telling myself, this is Aemon, because you can see the walk and you can kind of see the strap, the eye patch strap around his hair. And I was like, this is Aemon. But when he turns back, it's Daemon instead, but in Aemon's outfit. And this scene is so layered to a point where you can't just break it down in this one video. Because for me, when I saw that scene, I was like, Daemon is finally realizing that Aemon is someone to actually be very afraid of. He's a contender. He's a worthy contender at this point. You know, Aemon has always been in this position where he's always wanted Daemon to actually see him as someone who's worthy of actually going to battle with him. He's always wanted that recognition from Daemon, and Daemon is actually seeing him as actual competition. Because if you're dreaming of me, that means I am haunting your mind. I am literally going through your mind. If you're dreaming about certain things, you've been thinking about them. So I feel like that's when he actually saw Aemon as an actual adversary, someone he will one day have to fight, and it's not going to be an easy task. He's not someone he can just easily take down. And also, in that very scene, I actually thought that Aemon and Daemon are playing the same position when it comes to the crown. Aemon does not believe Aegon should be king, right? And also Daemon does not believe Rhaenyra should be queen, because he believes he can do a better job. They both believe they can do better jobs than the people that they're fighting for, than the people that they're trying to protect. You see? So I actually also saw that in that scene. And as we go on, we actually find out that Aemon is willing to actually just off Aegon live. And yeah, it was quite a layered scene. As I've said, it's not something that we can completely break down in this video, but that was just my interpretation of that particular scene. And as we said, he later on has this conversation with Alice Rivers. As we said, Rivers means when you're called, if you are a bastard, you're called after the name of where you're born. She's born in Riverland, so as a bastard, since she can't take the last name, she's called Rivers. And she actually kind of explains herself, and as much as you can't tell, as I said, conversations in House of the Dragon are not like straightforward like conversations that we have right now. They're actually very smart. People actually say so many things without saying anything, or just saying very little, if that makes any sense. And she asks Daemon if he believes in the tales that are told about Harrenhal. And she's like, if you don't believe in those tales, why aren't you sleeping as well? Why are you being haunted in your dreams? And I remember this scene, especially where she says, you kind of upset your wife, and instead of kind of apologizing. You literally you came here, you're bringing up an army, but you're not even communicating with the people you're supposed to be collaborating. What does that mean, And she offers him a drink, and he drinks it, knowing very well he actually called her a witch like moments before, and that didn't make any sense. But yeah, I think she's quite an interesting character. So many things are said about her. As I said, a lot of people think or believe she is the same as the lady from Game of Thrones, Missandria the witch. And as I said, she does exist in this period because she's centuries old. So they probably, as I said, practice the same thing. There's this thing that they said that they kind of worship the old gods. And that's where the witchcraftiness of it all comes. When it comes to her, rather. Damon is essentially just hallucinating all through this episode. It's crazy. And there's this thing, once someone sows doubt, or you sow doubt within yourself, you kind of second guess yourself in every move that you make. You can be making the right moves, but if you have doubt, you will probably not accomplish the things that you wanted to accomplish. So I feel like Damon having that doubt, something that we've not seen him have in even season 1, it's going to play like a really big role, probably in the Black's downfall. As far as I'm concerned, we are at episode 4. I feel and I believe like the Blacks have taken more damage compared to the Greens by a mile. So I don't know if they will somehow redeem themselves. We'll get to see. And as I said, Alicent finally stands up for herself. There's this scene in the trailer, and I broke it down, and I was like, I'm glad she can finally stand up for herself. As much as I'm not Team Green, at least she stands up for herself. And she tells Aegon things as they are. We didn't just choose you because that you are wise and because that you are the best of the best. So many sacrifices were made. A lot of people in that council, even your brother, even Akinasa, Christian Cole, your grandfather, everything was done intentionally to put you in that throne. It's been something that has been in the works for such a long time. And Aegon was like, okay, you say all these things, so what am I supposed to do? And Alicent just comes out and says, you should do nothing. Just do nothing. Just be there. Just be there. That is the only thing they want of him. And that just triggers something, and he all of a sudden has to go to war. A war that he wasn't even supposed to go to, And also reminds me of this scene where Rhaenyra wanted to go to war. You remember when we were talking about Baela and Jace, and I'm so glad Jace put her in her place. Because for me, let me just say this, I feel like as much as, yes, Rhaenyra has been acting from a point of empathy and caution and everything, I believe her reluctantness, her being reluctant, is what is going to cost them this war. Sometimes, as much as empathy is required, at times you need to act. There are places where you don't need to put your emotions too forward. You understand. I feel like her being reluctant, her being hesitant, her making stupid moves such as going to King's Landing, as an audience you might see it as a great move because you finally have the morality point, or rather view of it. But looking at it as somebody who might be actually in that war state, that was a very dumb move. I feel like every move that she's made, and probably that is what has set Damon up in flames, Jace as well, her council. I feel like whatever move she's been making, she's put a lot of people in jeopardy. And I feel like she needs to do more. As much as I am Team Black, I feel like she needs to do more. She needs to step up her game. She needs to stop being too nice. It's not making sense. The people are dying. There are people who are dying in a war that they should not be dying in, Yeah, as much as I'm Team Rhaenyra, I feel like she's just been doing stupid things. I get where she's coming from, but in war, you need to put your feelings aside. At times, you just need to think like a man and do what needs to be done and put people in their places. Because people, if you play around with people, people will also play around with you. So if you're not serious, people will just take you out. And as I said, J.R.R. Martin said that these are the actual events and not what the books are. The books, remember, are just a record written by people from third persons or second persons perspective. So the book does explain to us that she's a cruel queen. At some point, I want to see that cruelty. I want us to see her going after the Greens for going after the people she loves. Because especially after Rhaenys' death, if she doesn't do anything, then I'm going to switch to Team Green. Because you can't be just holding back. Everyone is going to die at this point for nothing. Let them die for something that is worth it, but don't let them die stupid deaths, especially in a war. Yeah, so yeah, I feel like Jace put her in her place because she was like, how can you go to King's Landing? What if they caught you? What if they executed you? Then all of this would be for nothing. And she brings up the same thing as Aegon. I feel like they're all thinking like silly people. Ati she wants to go on Dragonback to war. What if she dies? Then all of it would be for nothing, Yeah, so I don't know. Especially in this episode, she didn't stand up. She didn't stand out rather to me, but anyway, maybe she'll redeem herself in episode 5. Oh, now let's get to the touchy stuff. Rhaenys and Meleys. Oh, they kind of foreshadowed their deaths, especially when she was finally like holding Meleys, telling her old girl, oh, we are riding to battle once again. And that scene was painful. And Aegon finally with the Sunfire, riding on Sunfire. And Criston Cole just we know they have a collaboration with Aemon. So they're attacking during the day, which is not supposed to be the plan, but they had a plan already. And Aegon just came to disrupt that plan. And this dragon scene carries a lot. It's actually 10 minutes out of the whole episode. I wish we would have more. For me, I've been wanting to see more dragon fights. I don't know if it's things to do with the budget, but hey, this HBO has money, and this is actually a show they should be investing in. Don't mind, I've had noisy neighbors of late. So yeah, I don't know where to start with this dragon scene. This whole the actual dragon dance finally after one season and 3 episodes. There's this scene where Aemon is finally receiving the go-ahead to attack, and he sees Sunfire and Aegon just flying above, and he's like, idiot. And he actually commands Vhagar to just relax. There's a time where we are going to actually attack. And I actually thought that was a great scene because Vhagar actually listens. There's this scene where Viserys said, Targaryens or other people who come from Valerion have this notion that dragons can be controlled. And to some extent they can't, because we saw in season 1, as much as it's different from the books, Aemon did not want to kill Rhaenyra's son, but Vhagar didn't listen to him and went ahead. So actually seeing the old girl, because she's a grandmother, seeing Grandma Vhagar actually listen to Aemon, I think that was quite interesting, because remember, Vhagar is like the biggest dragon out of them all. Vhagar is actually the biggest dragon of them all. So actually seeing her take commands is interesting. The other thing is seeing Aemon did want to kill Aegon. He saw them and he was like, Vhagar Dracarys. And he actually took his brother down, the king, in front of so many people. He wasn't even aiming at Meleys. And this scene actually plays out different from the books. The book said that Sunfire and Vega teamed up against Melis to take her down. Because if she only had to go against one, even Vega, she would have won. But this scene plays out completely different. Vega actually just takes them out one by one. Sunfire was just taken out as people were seeing. And remember, Sunfire actually went down after Melis kind of scratched his belly rather. And seeing that interaction between those dragons, it's actually painful seeing the dragons hurt, especially Sunfire. I might not like Aegon, but I don't particularly hate Aegon. But just seeing Sunfire get hurt, even if I'm not Team Green, that was so painful. And as we said, Vega and Aemon purposefully take Sunfire down. And I'm like, yo, he's not even hiding it. He regretted taking his cousin down, but forcefully, with his whole chest, he took Sunfire and the king down. And I'm like, yo, this guy doesn't even care. And the death with Melis and Rhaena, I feel like it was Rhaenys rather. It was completely unnecessary, if you ask me. It was completely unnecessary because she had every opportunity and every chance to just fly away, but she didn't take that option. I believe in honorable deaths, as we've seen in the Japanese culture, them doing the seppuku, but this one was completely unnecessary. If it played out the way it played out in the books where she was completely cornered, then it would have made sense. This time she wasn't even cornered. She had 2 opportunities to just fly away. If Vega followed, then it would have been something else. But she had every opportunity to fly away. And this thing, Vega, is old and grumpy and everything. She can't have full-on head Nini attacks because she's slow and she's heavier than, let's say, Melis. So what she usually does is sneak attacks. Look at what she did in season 1. Look at what she did taking down Melis and Rhaenys. Sneak attacks. So I think, as I said, you play over your strength. But I'm usually asking myself, how can that big thing just sneak up on you? Because it's huge. It making its entrance in the battlefield, as in the whole temperature changed, And there's this other difference that I noted between, let's say, dragons such as Sunfire, Moondancer, and those small dragons, and the dragons such as Vega, Caraxes, and Melis. Yes, they're big, but they have this thing with them. They're not summer children, and their riders are not summer children. So when you look at their wings, they have battle scars. They have holes. Their wings have holes, meaning they've seen war, they've been through war, they've been through it. If you look at Melis, the same thing. Look at Vega, the same thing. But if you look at these other 2 small dragons, such as Sunfire, they just look brand new because they've not seen war, they've not experienced war, So that's another thing that was interesting to note. Otherwise, as I said, I feel like Melis, playing it as it was in the TV show, she had every opportunity, or rather Rhaenys, because Melis is not in control. Rhaenys had every opportunity to run away, but I feel like probably she needed to make a statement. I don't know. Probably. That was such a cool scene. I feel, as I said, I wish we could see more of those dragon fights. Because I feel like we've seen so many human fights. We've seen so many battles between human beings. I feel like Dance of the Dragons, show us the dragons taking each other down. It's painful, but kwanza that scene where when Vega finally caught up with Melis and literally just almost cut the neck, and they were falling. Oof, that was painful because Rhaenys is like, okay, we are finally just being taken down, and the crash from high up above to the castle. Oof. The book usually says that Rhaenys could not be recovered. She was just like a burnt omen. That's the only thing that was recovered of her, which is painful. And remember that Aegon was taken down by Vega, right? Completely unnecessary. And in this case, Aemond is not even hiding it. Even as Christian Cole goes to recover the king, there's this scene where Aemond is kind of taking out his sword to kind of finish Aegon off, and Sir Criston Cole stops him. Yo, me, I've never seen Aemond like this. I'm feeling like everything that he's been carrying, all the bullying that he's been receiving, he carried all of it to this particular war. And he wanted Aegon to just go. And remember, Aegon right now, as per the TV show, he has no heir. So if Aegon dies, he can easily take over the crown. So you see, he's very calculated. And after that battle, of course, Aegon is not going to be functional for a very long time. And yeah, I think we'll get to see what happens in the later seasons. I don't want to say a lot of spoilers because I don't want to spoil it for people who've not watched the who actually haven't read the books, or rather don't know the lore of it. But I think that was a very strong episode. R.I.P. Meleys, R.I.P. Rhaenys, the queen, the queen that was, the queen that never was, the queen that never was, and Meleys is called the Red Queen. Yeah, been getting my HOTD lore on my fingertips. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I think that was a very strong episode, very, very strong. As I said, I didn't want this episode to be this long, but hey, here we are. And yeah, I'm going to do a trailer breakdown for episode 5. Although we've said the promo episodes are not as long, you can't see much from them, but from what we saw in the last week's promo, a lot of it that we had said in that promo actually came to pass. So yeah, I'm actually becoming a genius at this. So yeah, up until then, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.